and look at this, okay? So this is the Bible Discovery Program. I think I have 6 of these, okay? So this is really cool. I also have something that I love. $5 mouse pads. I have 4 of these. We've just designed them. These are really thick, really fun to use, and the person who gets one of the bonus questions right is going to get a mouse pad today. So I know that gets you all excited. Also, how many of you have not received a book yet? Okay? Here's the deal. Come tomorrow, I'm willing to give you another book because I really don't want to take them back because I brought them for you. So if you want another book, come and see me tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Say, I'd like to have another book. I'd like to have a couple more books. I'd like to send one to a family member. I'd like to show it to my pastor, whatever. I want to get rid of these in a nice, polite way, but bless you with another book. Okay? So just because you have one, you can get another here in the next couple days because I want to take good care of you. Okay. Well, here's the question. You remember what we talked about this morning, which was? Okay, so how many people between 2 and 4 p.m. took a snap? Now, what is a snap? A snap is a 10-minute nap. It's a snap. How many of you did that? Okay, now you got to be honest with me. How many of you took 10 consecutive 10-minute naps? Oh, someone actually raised their hand. So what is that? 10 consecutive 10-minute naps? An hour and 40 minutes. Okay, well, that's all right. Well, here's the deal. I got to be honest with you. You see the I in creation health? The I in creation health. We haven't talked about that yet, but you're looking at it. Well, my wife and I actually did that before it started raining. And the I in creation health for a presenter is ice cream. So Dairy Queen treated us very, very well this afternoon, so I'm pretty upbeat right now. I know I was real quiet and calm this morning, but the ice cream is now pumping through my veins. I will probably crash here at about 6 or 7 o'clock, but fortunately, the T in creation health is tornado watch. I hear that when camp meeting happens, you always have a tornado watch. But we trust in God that He will protect us from a tornado. But we are in a creation health presentation, so if that tornado comes, it's pretty good timing, because what's the subject matter right now? The environment. Hopefully we will not discuss tornadoes in this presentation. Let us begin with prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you so much. We're listening to your nature. We can hear the rain. We know there's wind. We know there may be something disastrous behind this storm, but we trust you. Thank you for the environment that's all around us, that if we use it wisely and protect it, that it takes care of us, brings us peace. We can hear the sky thunder, the nature crying out. And in Scripture it says that, in Romans chapter 8, it says that creation groans. The creation groans. We're hearing that right now, because the creation knows you are coming soon to this earth to redeem us. So thank you for this time. May we have an enjoyable time. And may you bless us now. I ask these things in your name. Amen. All right, my friends. Who has a personal study guide? There you go, page 51. Remember what we do. After we do that session, we probably come back a week later, and we just have a homework review. So this homework review was literally a breathing exercise. So you put your hand here, and we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. But a breathing exercise was page 51. That's the review for those who have a seminar personal study guide. Our topic today is the environment. Isn't that a beautiful slide? So we've got a synopsis, right? We always have a slide that's the synopsis. Environment is the space outside of us that affects what happens inside of us. Okay? That's important. Our environment is the greatest testament of God's love for beauty and for order. The creation health philosophy recognizes that our environment not only lifts our spirits and promises healing, but also can generate stress and illness. Think about that. Can your environment generate stress and illness? When I moved to Florida, I moved from Asheville, North Carolina. Beautiful place. And I moved to Highway 436 in Apopka, Florida, and there was a fire station right across the street, and it was the busiest one. So I went from the sounds of nature and mountains to the sound of emergencies. And every time we heard that, we would pray to whatever family, to whatever person they are headed to. It calmed us, but in the middle of the night, it was not fun. So it did give us some stress and illness. Not really illness, but stress. We did that for a couple years. And then we moved out and we experienced peace again. We took a trip today. We just drove wherever we ended up. Saw storks, 30, 40 of them all together, and we just sat there and watched them. And it was just unbelievable. Now that for you is common. That for me is pretty rare. And then we drove through a cemetery. Can you believe this? Who did I see there? Well, they're all dying to get in, I know that. So here's what happened. My wife, what's her name? Do you know? Bonus points? Cornelia. Oh, that was said very nicely. We found a Cornelia on a gravestone. 1886 to like 1944. Cornelia, right there, right next to the road. So I'm not going to say that gave us happy feelings, but it was something that it was really cool. So our environment, it can generate stress, can also lift our spirits. So Scripture says, remember we have a slide that says God's desire for us. We want to go straight to Scripture. It says, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was what? It was very good. I found another scripture in the book of Psalms, 24:1. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Psalm 89:11. The heavens are yours, the earth also is yours, the world and all it contains. You have founded them. Powerful scripture. We're going to launch, gentlemen, at the AV with our video. Everyone, pens, worksheets. Here we go. You only have 3, so you got good odds you're going to pass this one, okay? You only got 3 to fill in. I have faith in you. Okay, we're still not getting the... They had to switch something this morning. They said it was coming through the TV, but not through the system. We'll get it. Well, I guess you can imagine what she's saying. It's a beautiful place. Her pink shirt is glowing. I could narrate a little bit, but this is a beautiful video, so I really want you to enjoy this and take this in. It will lift your spirits. Was this made by Florida Hospital? It was. Yeah, I might as well talk about that. If you hear Creation Health, it is connected to Florida Hospital. So Des Cummings, Monica Reed were the two that basically wrote the first book. And then from there, it's become our philosophy for all that we do in extending the healing ministry of Christ. And you've heard of Adventist Health System? Let me first say that Adventist Health System is not owned by the church. Some people get that confused. That is a healthcare system. It's based in, well, I would say Florida, but it's probably got hospitals in Georgia, Colorado, I think Illinois. So about 40 to 50 hospitals, kind of the eastern side of the states. And Adventist Health System also is looking at creation health right now and making it their philosophy of extending the healing ministry of Christ. And the reason is, it is a holistic philosophy. So it's mind, body, and spirit. And what we're doing right now with Creation Health is we're taking it into our employee orientation. Here's how dedicated Florida Hospital is to Creation Health. They have an orientation on Monday and Tuesday morning. For every single week, they have an orientation. And for Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday, they put them through a Creation Health employee orientation. So 3 days, people are being paid to just go and learn the philosophy of what it is that we believe in and what it is that we do on a daily basis. The directors, the units, they're all focused on what they're going to be doing with Creation Health as they're implementing it into their units, into the medical side. Chaplains are using it as they connect to pastors in the faith community. Because one of the things that we're realizing is pastors know the hospital, they come and see a patient, but what if we were to connect a chaplain to a pastor? How powerful would that link be? So I'm actually presenting some of this on Wednesday to a bunch of chaplains to explain, and you're going to see this on Friday evening, about 4 o'clock, I believe. We're going to talk about the what now, and it's what does your church do? How does your church engage? How does the community engage? Where's the hospital's role? And one of the things that I found with hospitals in the faith community is that hospital is information. Hospital is really good at information. And churches are really good at relations, the relational aspect. So if we can connect the information to the relational, what we're doing is we're giving a place for a church to take the information from a healthcare, put it into a Sabbath school classroom, because think of this, what's the only time that a church is completely full? Sabbath morning. So your Sabbath school rooms are all full, church is full, parking lot full, probably the fellowship hall, but what happens Sunday through Friday? It can be pretty empty. So what we're trying to do is trying to create a model in which we have basically volunteers that are going to start to connect with healthcare volunteers or nurses. Have you heard of faith community nurses, a parish nurse? Okay, very good. These are nurses that operate with the faith community. But what if we were to use the space that the church has to help people understand their diabetes, their heart disease, and even though we're giving them the right information in the church, what if then we had the church members voluntarily support people through that difficult journey? That is relationship. That is healing. That is growth. So the chaplains are looking at how we're going to do that. Another thing with health ministry. Are you ready? Okay. You'll learn some from on Friday afternoon. But another thing with Florida Hospital that we're looking at doing is, and I'll just start talking about this because this is a good time, we have a kids program. So we have created, just recently, a Creation Kids curriculum that you can go through in the 8 weeks the same time you're going through the Creation Adult, which is what you're seeing here, curriculum. Because what Creation Health believes is one of the differentiators is that we have a family focus. So if the kids are doing it in a vacation Bible school format, in a Sabbath school format, or in their own workshop, and the parents are doing it at the same time, what happens when they both come together and go home? It's probably lived out a little longer. Because what do kids do? They hold mom and dad accountable. And if we can teach them at this age, Creation Health, imagine what's going to happen to our church. It's going to be healthy. It's going to be whole. It's going to be active. So, Creation Kids, you can see that. I have some information in the back. I'll be happy to show you. If you're really interested in kids programming, I actually have the Vacation Bible School that you can see, you can purchase. I do have the Creation Kids curriculum. My wife is currently finishing up a Creation Kids preschool curriculum, and it's going to be in the North American division in many of the schools, and that is going to be creation health pumped into these little ones during the school day. How amazing is that? And then we have a 5th grade that we're looking at doing. We've also got a high school program. Now here's the great thing about this. I was literally in the cafeteria, and one of the girls who was serving and cleaning up saw my shirt, and she started glowing and smiling. And I says, well, how are you? What are you doing? She goes, we did that. What do you mean we did that? I knew what she meant, but I wanted to see what she'd say. She goes, we did creation health and health class during the quarter. It was amazing. She said the interpersonal relationships and the outlook and the nutrition. She said it was the funnest class I've ever done. You know why? Because it's meaningful. And hopefully in her life and the lives of the kids that are here, Maplewood Academy is dedicated to teaching Adventist health message through creation health principles to their teenagers. Because they know how important it is to, let's look at the kids one. See the kids one over here? It's a little different. Choice and rest and environment. Little kids, they love this stuff. The teenagers loved this. But really the one that she told me, she said interpersonal outlook, interpersonal relationships was her toughest one. Why? Why is that in academy, that interpersonal relationships is probably the toughest one for them? Peers. Because social media breeds bullying. It's tough because if you do something, it can be on Snapchat in 1 second, and it is a live video of something terrible that you've done or something funny that someone thinks is funny, but it's embarrassing for you. It's all over the school like this. So what we tried to do with this interpersonal relationships, tried to help them understand each other, understand manners, understand being polite. And then she said the outlook one was tough. That's pretty discouraging when she said, outlook's pretty hard. Because they're scared. And they're worried. Some of them are lonely. So the Creation Health High School, it's called a High School Engagement Program. They're actually meeting in Minneapolis, St. Paul next week to finish up this curriculum. It's in a book and it's in an iPad. So you can download this. People are already doing it. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a group of teachers together who can come together and create what we'd call a teacher's guide or create worksheets so kids can do more interactive things. There's also a way they can load up a YouTube video that they do in their class. You want me to just keep going with my presentation since I'm presenting something completely different now? I might as well just talk about what we need to talk about. So Creation Kids is a differentiator. You're going to learn in just a minute that the other differentiator that I believe Creation Health has is environment. Why would that be? Because that's what the nation's talking about. It's global warming. And we've positioned ourselves in an incredible place. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to jump ahead. Let's see how many got the questions right. Oh, sorry. Just kidding. Okay, but I'm going to have to give you the answers just in case. Well, I guess I don't have to, but I will. It's not a problem. I could always take my mic and put it up to the computer.
Yeah, but we can't. We don't have anything now.
Okay. All right, so let's just kind of go through this together. I think you can probably guess. Let's go for number 1. Let's go to number 1. I'll pull out the sheet and join you out here. It says, natural environments reduce, just guess, stress. Very good. So you can see these things. We're going to talk a little bit about these things, but maybe we can just skip through some of these slides and let's just do it right now. Sunshine increases health. Now, has sunshine been getting a bad rap? Yes. So is sunshine bad, or is too much sunshine bad? Too much. Is suntan lotion the best thing you can do to protect yourself from a sunburn or from the sun? Okay, so what should you do with suntan lotion? Throw it away. Well, we're not going to quote you, but here's the deal. This is what I've learned, and I'm not an expert in sunlight, okay? But what you should do is you should go out and get about 10 minutes. Is that right? My wife knows all this. Maybe she should be teaching right now. You get about 10 minutes of sun before you put the sunscreen on. So if you're out going to the beach in Florida, I'd advise you to wear sunscreen. But I'd advise you to get that vitamin D into your skin and your pores before you put the suntan lotion on. Otherwise, you're just blocking that. And there's a whole bunch of stuff we could talk about with that. So just protect yourself from the sun, but don't avoid the sun, okay? It converts cholesterol into vitamin D. That's a really good thing. It helps prevent cancer and kills germs, okay? Fresh air is charged with negative ions and is chemically different than recirculated air. There's actually a study that we're going to talk about in which they found that the air inside the building was worse than the air outside. 2 to 5 times more polluted inside a building than outside. They also say that's your home. Your home is also 2 to 5 times more polluted than outside, as the study shows. They also put, I'm not sure what the name of it is, but they actually put a flu bug in certain people. And they talked about how the air, and we'll see if we can get that. But they did a study on that, and it's a paragraph, and I wanted to read it to you because it's amazing. I did not have a chance to memorize it. Plants that remove toxic chemicals from the air. Chinese evergreen, English ivy, Gerber daisy, and the peace lily. But I have one I'm going to put on the screen, maybe. And guess what the name of this plant is that helps to improve the air in your home? This is really funny. It's called the mother-in-law's tongue. You gotta love that. Guess what the other name for it is? This isn't so nice. The snake plant. So these plants like dry air, dry soil, and they don't need to be repotted. Okay? They love the natural light. So I was thinking about that. I have a wonderful mother-in-law. She doesn't need to be repotted. She likes where she's living. She loves dry air, so she's not happy in Florida right now. Do you know what the temperature is in Florida right now? 96 degrees, a gazillion humidity, and they're inside an air conditioning. And I'm here and it's 72, and I'm looking at storks. How good is that? Who gets the better deal? All right? Now, what's the other thing? Keep 1 6-inch plant for every 100 square feet of living space. So we put a plant every room, okay? Say what? Maybe 2 plants? Whatever you feel is best, it just takes a 6-inch plant. Okay, so this is just good advice. We do have research that backs this up. Indoor air pollution, we can see that. So let's continue on. What affects mood and behavior? I don't even know the answer to that myself.
We're beginning to come back.
You're awesome.
cord.
Well, you've always been here, but...
The cord died.
Okay, blank affect mood and behavior. Scents. You know that, right? Sure. How many of you do the natural oils? All right. How many of you like that special candle during that special season? And what's the candle you like during Christmas? Evergreen. Pine needles. Okay? There's a bonus question, so I'll ask you the bonus question, and it's going to talk about scent. Blank, I really believe this one. Blank is visual pollution. Clutter. All right. So is knickknacks, are knickknacks clutter? I don't think you guys should answer that. Ooh, I heard something. And it was not thunder. Are knickknacks clutter? That's not a question to answer, but I just wanted to ask it. All right, here we go. That was fun. You guys did awesome. So I'm going to give you a bonus question, 2 bonus questions. They're going to come from the DVD. I know exactly where they're going to come. You're going to really enjoy this. 2 bonus questions. One's for a mouse pad, one's for a bag. All right? Mouse pad, bag. Here we go. Ready to hit play? Awesome. Let's give the sound guys a hand. It's cool. We should stand up to this one. Okay.
Without asphalt, steel, or concrete. Awe-inspiring beauty from the stars to the sea. It was perfect. And as it turns out, it was an environment our souls still long for. Even now, the wondrous beauty still awes us. And in these simple moments, when we allow ourselves to appreciate Earth's magnificent wonders, there's a certain part within us that feels it has finally found home. Let's join Dr. Winnie King as she shares some insights about the environments where we work and live and how we can recreate a soothing oasis that renews our soul.
When you close your eyes and drift away to your private sanctuary of peace, calm, and quiet, what do you see? Well, if you're like me and the rest of us who long for a little heaven on earth, I'll bet you're not calling up visions of clutter and clatter, stale air, and awful smells. Why? Well, it seems obvious. Inherently, we know the difference between an environment that lifts our spirits and one that pulls us deeper into darker places. Research confirms that our environment either affects us positively or negatively. It affects our feelings, thoughts, mood, and actions. Here's an example that demonstrates the simple impact of a little bit of nature. A study of urban residents, city dwellers who live in apartment buildings. Those whose buildings were landscaped have stronger feelings of community. They know their neighbors better, socialize more, and feel more secure. Just having a bit of nature outside their home proved to be a coping mechanism for mental fatigue. Trees and greenery eased the grinding stresses of inner city living. A natural environment created stronger feelings of hope for the future and helped residents manage their problems more effectively. They were more satisfied with life overall. Nature has a healing effect on us too. Hospitals have learned that patients who have a view of nature from their windows healed better, faster, and had less pain. Seeing trees through their window rather than buildings and brick walls made a huge difference. Think how you feel after a walk through a beautiful garden or a tree-lined path. Windows are beneficial for learning as well. In a study involving undergraduates, a windowed classroom increased motivation and attention. An abundance of daylight in the classroom dramatically increased test scores. In an American Institute for Research study, 6th graders in California who participated in an outdoor class showed improved science test scores. A nature-based environment reduces discipline and other classroom management problems, and it increases enthusiasm for learning. Nature is a positive aid for students who struggle to pay attention. The greener a child's play area, the less severe are his or her attention deficit symptoms. Nature's positive impact can also be seen in the workplace. The anxiety level of employees who work in a building with plants was lower than employees working in an environment without plants. They showed increased concentration and improved attention to details. If you're feeling pressure at work, take a 10-minute walk among trees or beautiful landscaping. You'll return more alert and refreshed. Here's a study with results that might not surprise you. Participants who watched a video of a drive down a scenic parkway exhibited lower levels of frustration than those who watched a drive through crowded and noisy city streets. Think about that as you wonder why you're feeling all tense as you roll into your parking space. All this research shows us that simply viewing a garden or other forms of nature reduces blood pressure and lowers the pulse. Be good to yourself and enjoy the healing power of nature. Now, in addition to making your world more green, two more key things you should be enjoying are sunshine and fresh air. Sunshine is essential to our well-being. It promotes health, positive thinking, and increases serotonin, an important brain chemical. Reduced levels of serotonin are connected to ADHD, irritability, depression, aggression, anxiety, lack of concentration, chronic pain, restlessness, obsessive-compulsive disorder, chronic fatigue syndrome, to name only a few of many. Sunlight also has a positive and significant impact on an employee's job satisfaction and general well-being. It makes them feel more relaxed, which improves their performance on demanding activities that require intense concentration. Sunlight is our biggest source of vitamin D, which is required for strong bones. In fact, sunlight is so powerful that it's able to convert cholesterol into vitamin D. It also enhances our immune system against invading germs. And as surprising as this might sound, sunshine in moderate amounts actually helps prevent cancer. This linkage appears to be due to vitamin D. Sunlight also affects melatonin, which promotes sound sleep. So take a few minutes in the sun each day and sleep better at night. And get this, sunlight has been shown to kill germs. So open the curtains and pull up the blinds and create a healthier environment. So for a powerful 1-2 punch, make sure to include sunshine and fresh air in your day. But not all air is equal. Fresh air is chemically different than the recirculated air that most of us breathe each day. Fresh air is charged with negative ions. Now that's a good thing. It's this kind of air that offers us enormous benefits: an improved sense of well-being, improved function of our lungs' protective cilia, decreased anxiety because of its tranquilizing and relaxing effect, lower body temperature, lower resting heart rate, improved learning, decreased severity of stomach ulcers, and decreased survival of airborne bacteria and viruses. But chances are pretty good that the air you're breathing in your home and office isn't all that fresh and contains more than you bargained for. 3 common contaminants are formaldehyde, benzene, and carbon monoxide. But here's some good news. NASA, when they're not busy launching things into space, is doing some research which finds that there are plants which actually remove toxic chemicals from the air. Chinese evergreen, English ivy, Gerber daisies, and peace lilies, to name a few. For these plants to do their job most effectively, keep a 6-inch plant for each 100 square feet of living space. Who'd have thought that air pollution inside our homes could be more of a concern than outdoors? According to the EPA, the air inside our homes is often 2 to 5 times more polluted than out there. In extreme cases, it can be 100 times more contaminated, making indoor air pollution one of the top 5 environmental risks to public health. Some of the culprits are household cleaners and pesticides, certain home furnishings like carpets, foams, and composite wood products made from fume-emitting synthetic fibers. Poorly ventilated combustion appliances like gas ranges and furnaces can be problematic as well. Don't overlook fumes coming from garbage cans and indoor composting containers. These factors, combined with energy-efficient construction, which limits air exchanges between the indoors and the outdoors, rapidly increase indoor pollutants. So look around and be aware of potential risks. The good news is we can control our environment and make it a healthier place. Another component regarding the air we breathe is fragrances. Certain scents affect our moods and behaviors. Businesses often use special fragrances that encourage emotions in customers, patients, or guests. The new car smell that so many people like is actually an artificial odor that's used to increase the buyer's satisfaction. Other fragrances, such as familiar Christmas scents used in stores, cause people to connect with an emotion and therefore purchase more products. Casinos have learned that there are certain odors which influence people to gamble their money away. London's Heathrow Airport has experimented with the pine needle fragrances to decrease passenger stress levels. Bad odors have been known to make people more aggressive. Olympic weightlifters have used smelling salts before competition to boost their strength levels. And on the other hand, vanilla-like odors have been shown to reduce anxiety by 63% in patients having a closed MRI scan, which can make people feel claustrophobic. These examples illustrate the powerful impact that smell has upon our mood and attitude. What we smell has the power to make us happy, aggressive, relaxed, anxious, or focused. Smell receptors in our nose connect directly to the limbic area of the brain, our emotional center. The limbic area connects to special regions in the brain that influence our heart rate, brainwave patterns, blood pressure, muscle tension, and skin temperature. Smell also affects the memory area of our brain. Essential oils commonly used in aromatherapy can positively impact us. For example, rosemary increases alertness in some people. Peppermint and eucalyptus increase cognitive performance. So when it comes to our environment, we want clean air and fragrances that soothe and relax us. Wouldn't you agree that we spend the majority of our time in a combination of our home and work? It only makes sense that these two environments have the most impact on our mood and well-being. And one of the most significant things that affects us in either of these environments is clutter. How do you feel when these spaces are cluttered or unorganized? Now, there's no question that clutter affects us negatively. Think of it as visual pollution. We are less relaxed in an unkept environment. Why bombard our eyes with clutter when there are so many more pleasant things to see? Photos of family, or spring cherry blossoms, a painting by your favorite artist, or your dog jumping through a hoop. The best news is that we can choose what we see in our homes. We can surround ourselves with calming, inspiring, and pleasant things. When we allow ourselves to be surrounded by clutter and disorganization, our energy is drained and our stress increases. These psychological and emotional issues contribute to depression and bad behavior, and it holds us back. And here's a sobering fact. Studies show that people with cluttered desks and offices are less likely to get promoted. Now that's hitting you in your pocketbook. Now listen. No, really, listen. The sounds you hear also impact your health. In the beginning, we were surrounded by the tranquil sounds of nature. Noise pollution didn't exist. Allow me to paint a picture with sound here. Imagine a day spent in nature, a luxurious day of beautiful, enlivening sounds. The playful rustle of wind dancing through trees. The soothing sounds of birds singing in the distance, waves gently splashing against the shore, a rocky brook babbling softly in the sun, rain pattering on the leaves, thunder rumbling across the sky. Nature is a symphony, and God is its conductor. I'm guessing your blood pressure just now dropped a few points. Filling our environments with these sounds and images creates a more enjoyable place to live. Noise is an unwanted stressor that compromises our health. Its negative effects include hearing loss, increased blood pressure, decreased concentration, and just plain puts us in a bad mood. Prolonged repetitive exposure to loud noises has also been found to increase heart disease. You can improve your life instantly by filling your environment with the sounds of nature or soothing music. Well, I've talked about a bunch of things to think about as you explore ways to enhance your environment. Here are 4 easy ones to remember. Get some live green plants. Put one on your desk, table, and nightstand. Bring nature into your home and workplace. Open your windows to let in sunshine and fresh air. Declutter your environments. This will lower stress and boost your energy levels. Experiment with pleasing aromas like vanilla, eucalyptus, and peppermint. Bake a fresh apple pie every now and then, or some cookies. All of these things have a positive impact on our health, emotions, and moods. Make your home the place you enjoy most. Add something to your work environment that makes you happy, and create the paradise your heart and soul desire.
We often take our environment for granted, or we feel too tired to change it. But small changes create life-enhancing benefits. It's not an accident that the sounds, smells, and sights of nature improve our lifestyle and make us feel happier and more satisfied. It all goes back to the beginning and the kind of home God originally created for us. The good news is we can create a nurturing oasis for ourselves and our family. What's something you can do to make your home or work more pleasant right now? It might be as simple as a short walk in the fresh air, soaking in the luxurious rays of the sun, or stopping by the store on the way home to buy a plant for a table or desk. Maybe it's burning a scented candle in the evenings before going to sleep. Whatever it is, decide to take action right now to improve your environment. It's your life, and you deserve the best. So go ahead and create an environment that nurtures you spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. A place that helps you live in comfort and be at peace. That's creation health.
Amen. Okay, I saw a few people who just walked in. We're just going to go through this real quick for your sake. Natural environments reduce stress. Scents affect mood and behavior. Clutter is visual pollution. And now what you're all waiting for? The bonus question. All right. So here we go. I'm going to choose a card. Ed Eigenberg. Where's Ed? Come on, buddy. You got to stand up. You ready? Getting all nervous, aren't you? All right. So the question is, Ed, blank has a healing effect. Well, that's kind of close. Big picture. Okay, keep going. All of it combined. The environment, all right. Well, we're going to call it nature. So, son, you got around to it. All right, what do you want, buddy? You want a bag or a mouse pad? All right. And I also have a Minnesota Twins hat for anybody who gets the next one right. Sorry. They make them small here for some reason. Okay. I know we got a tornado coming, so I'm moving. Here we go. Vanilla. The answer is Sarah Little. Where's Sarah? We'll go with that. Sarah's not here? All right, we got a sister. So what's the answer? You're amazing. Okay. We got a smart group here. Did you get it? Did I put it somewhere? Okay, the mouse pad, is that cool? Or did you want the Minnesota Twins hat? Okay, she wants the mouse pad. All right, thank you. So what's the scent that reduces anxiety? Vanilla. How many of you knew that? All right, here we go. This is going to be fun. I'm in a race, but here's the deal. I know we go from 4 to 5, but Maplewood time on that clock says it's 9:25, so we still have about 8 hours. So we're going to be good if we go by that clock. So no worries. Okay, I can talk loud and I can talk fast. You're not going to go anywhere? All right. I want to tell you the soundman extraordinaire identified the problem as an HDMI cable that failed. It's very uncommon. So they've got another one here, and that's why we're rolling. So let's have some fun. The truly healthy environment is not merely safe, but it is also what? Stimulating. Here's what Ellen White says. Sons and Daughters of God, page 105. By beholding Christ, we become changed. If the mind dwells upon temporal things constantly, these things become all-absorbing, affecting the character so that God's glory is lost sight of. And look at that last phrase, and forgotten. So I want you right now to take a moment to consider the images that are coming into your amazing brain. Are they positive? Are they health promoting? Think about your environment, not here at camp meeting, but at home, at a workplace. The videos, the programs, the music, the magazines, the books. Do they inspire and do they uplift through your sight? It says that 14 minutes of negative television news did this to the group. Anxiety and sad mood, there's no doubt about that. And catastrophizing worries, the filling of your mind with thoughts of great and sudden calamity or disaster. So I'd like to know how many of you have been in tune to the politics in the last year and watched all of the debates? Oh, good thumbs down. All right? So you guys up here in Minnesota, you didn't follow any of that, so you're happy as can be, right? I watched all those debates. And I listened to Glenn Beck in the morning at 9 o'clock, and I watched MSNBC to give a balance, and I listened to Mark Levin, and I saw some CNN, and I finally got to the point where I'd go to work and I'd be mad. And I went, why am I doing this? And my wife said that about a year ago, so I could have saved a whole lot of time if I had listened to her. But I was so enthused with what was going on, but it just makes you angry sometimes, because they act like fifth graders. And I had to change what I saw and what I listened to. So I went to work with something different. And it changed my outlook, which is what we'll talk about soon. It says that not only are such programs likely to adversely affect one's mood, but also likely to increase an individual's personal worries and anxieties. Personal worries. You're not only worried about the nation, you then start to internalize it. And interestingly enough, the effect of negative news can worsen a range of personal concerns that are not even specifically connected or linked to the topic or the content of the program. So you start worrying about stuff that may not even exist or something that you're creating. So what do you think of that? How does that make you feel? So what are the colors in nature? It says it right here in the corner. I added them to this slide because I love this slide. Reminds me of Minnesota. So colors in nature are blue and green. So here I did some research on blue. Coping with stress effectively can be as simple as looking at nature itself and its two primary colors, the blue sky and the green vegetation. Blue and green are pleasing to people and are associated with lower anxiety scores. Green is in the center of the spectrum and represents, what do you think? Balance. Green represents balance. Another study dealt with associations between color samples and words that describe feelings. Blue, the sky, was associated with secure, with comfortable, with tender, with soothing, which imply pleasure and low arousal. Blue has also been found to slow the pulse and lower the body temperature. So, in that picture, what about the red chairs? Yeah, you see them now. So I said the red is energizing. It excites the emotions. It motivates us to take action. The action here is what? Sit down and relax. That's the action. So blue is soothing, green is balance. The red chairs are calling you to take it in. I think we just made that up, so just go with that, because that is not part of the Creation Health presentation. But that's the red chairs to me. Sit down and relax. But can you see off to the left? This is now the hike off to the left. And as you're thinking about that hike, there's sounds of health and healing. A day spent in nature is a day surrounded by sound. Can you imagine what those are? Trees, birds, crickets, the peaceful patter of rain. And you heard it on the video, see if you can complete this. Nature is a veritable symphony of sound, and who is its great conductor? God. So health-promoting sounds, words of love, music, singing, sounds of nature. But this is not one of the ones that she talked about on the video. So I added this one. What about the sound of... You were supposed to be quiet. Oh, sorry. Silence. Is silence a sound? How many of you like silence? How many of you always have to have music on? Good for you. I do too. But I'm glad that you think sound is a silence, because it is. You can add laughter. Sure. That will help. So health-promoting sounds, she says laughter. Very good. I will add that onto this slide. We're going to switch over to smell. We're going to go through these real quick because you've already got a good feel of this. Can you smell those? Right now, can you smell the roses? Absolutely. It says here the third sense we'll talk about is smell, and how often do we take time to literally smell the roses? Think about some other smells that you have in your home. What do you think another smell is that you go, I better head to the kitchen? Which one is that one? Chocolate chip cookies. Yes. What? Baked bread. Are you guys looking at my notes? You've got them, 1 and 2. What about another one? We just had it. What? Yes, rain shower. There's 3. All right, I got another one. You do it and you roast marshmallows over it. A bonfire. Is there a smell to a bonfire? Absolutely. What about something you smell at Christmas time? Not in Florida unless I have a candle. What? Pine needles. You got those exactly right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So think of those as tantalizing smells. Then the thing she talked about, and we also talked about it, is just bringing nature indoors. What it didn't say was that NASA says that green and flowering plants remove several toxic chemicals from the air in building interiors. Okay? So NASA did the research, so get a 6-inch plant, Put it in 100 square feet of your interior, so probably every room, and just see how you feel. Indoor pollution. Americans spend how much percent of their time indoors? It's probably like 95 right now in Florida. We don't go outside unless we have to get to the car. So we're spending that amount of time with the air conditioning. I sleep so much better in Minnesota. I don't wake up with a headache. I don't wake up with all the allergies. Exactly, that's what he says. Well, remember, I said I'd live here June and July. Okay, but in January, bye-bye. I'm going to go back to Florida. But I do have a guy who's going to give me a snowmobile, and there he is right there. Say what? The air is cleanest, yes, because it's frozen. There's no pollution in freezing air. Right, that's a Creation Health tip, free today. Hopefully there's no cameras on. All right, here we go. How much is the polluted air? She said it on the video. We talked about it. 2 to 5 times more polluted. Okay? This is researched, and it's one of the top 5 environmental risks for public health is air pollution. Have you ever seen Los Angeles and Loma Linda area? You ever driven into it? What's over it? A smog. It's a dome, isn't it? Yep. So here are those plants we were talking about. We only mentioned 3 or 4, but you may want to write these down. I'll leave this up. There's 10 of them I want to give you. Yes, 10. So the bamboo, palm, English ivy. In the old presentation, they did not have the picture next to the name. We redid this slide. So take the time to write bamboo, palm, English ivy, Chinese evergreen, pot mum, magenta plant, and Wernicke. So those are the first 6. You can Google those all you want and see how they work and which one works best in your home and your area.
There's several different kinds of Chinese evergreens. There's the variegated and there's the green.
Okay?
The green you can't find in just any store. You have to find someone who grows them.
Okay.
And, the variegated is quite common, but the green is not.
Okay. I should be having you talk into the mic. This is Plant Enthusiast. Gave me her business card. So if you want to know more about these plants, I should probably be asking her as well. She has all the answers for these plants. So what I want you to do, since we have time. Oh, talk about that green and red one.
Which one?
The green and red one, Chinese evergreen,
Oh,
what you just told me.
the Chinese evergreen is there's a variegated kind which you can find sometimes in different stores, but the green one, the solid green one, is very rare and very expensive, and you would have to find someone who grows them themselves, and you would have to pay quite a lot for them.
All right, let's thank Plant Enthusiast. You did a wonderful job. Thank you. What a skill. I'm going to attempt to put this back on. Like I know what I'm doing. Here we go. We're going to go to the next 4, and I'll work on this. We have Gerbera Daisy, Peace Lily, Janet Craig. It's not to be confused with the other lady. And remember, I didn't get to surprise you like I usually love to, but you know what's coming next. My favorite, the mother-in-law's tongue. And the who? Sansevieria. The other, is that the scientific name, like this long? Okay, and then it's also called the snake plant. So what I did a little research, I didn't have it memorized. It says the mother-in-law's tongue is one of the most carefree houseplants you can grow. Okay? Most carefree houseplants. It thrives in just about any light, prefers dry air and soil, and rarely needs to be repotted. So if you kill plants, this is probably one you're going to do fine with, and I would also not recommend you do away with your mother-in-law. Okay, So this plan is awesome, and my mother-in-law is awesome as well. And yours is, I'm sure, as well. All right. That was enjoyable. Human touch. We're created to touch and be touched, and we must have touch to develop and grow. I'm going to read you a study. One study investigated the effect that holding someone's hand has on a person who is under stress. Are you ready? Married women were subject to the threat of electrical shock while holding their husband's hand. The hand of an anonymous male experimenter, or no hand at all. This study used magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, to capture the discrete stimulus properties that simple threat cues possess, and found that unpleasantness ratings were significantly lower in the spouse hand-holding condition than in both the stranger hand-holding condition and the no hand condition. This was confirmed by MRI ratings that showed a decrease in activation of the fight or flight areas of response in the brain. Just simply holding your spouse's hand. Hugging husbands live longer with fewer heart problems. This is not just one crazy study. This is numerous studies document this. Research shows that husbands who hug their wives regularly tend to live longer and have fewer heart problems. It took me a few years to learn this. My wife is already laughing. I did not come from an affectionate family, but now I pretty much hug everybody, so I'm going to live forever. So the Romanians taught me this principle, and hugging husbands. How many hugging husbands? Just try and say that. Hugging husbands? Okay, guys, who didn't raise your hand, what are you going to do? I'm going to watch you after we're done. We're going to have a moment to hug. Not you and me, you and your spouse. Here we go. Holding the hand of your spouse decreases feelings of unpleasantness. They also did another study that had responses of spouse hand-holding on neural threat responses varied as function of marital quality, with higher marital quality predicting less threat-related neural activation in the fight or flight response areas of the brain during spousal but not stranger hand-holding. So it had marital quality, so a good relationship with your spouse and holding hands created positive effects. So, I have a question for you. How many hugs per day do you need for survival? I have not heard the number yet. Okay, I hear 3, it's close, but we're hearing 6. Okay, well, I still haven't heard the answer. Doesn't mean you haven't said it. 4, all right? That's for survival. Okay, just for survival. We have much more fun to go. How many hugs per day for maintenance? Just for maintenance. 7? You like these 3 and 7s. Okay, you knew where we were going with that. 8. You need 8 hugs per day for maintenance. So here's the best one. How many hugs per day for growth? 12. All right? Now you're probably wondering, where does he get this information from? Okay? This is well-known family therapist Virginia Satir, S-A-T-I-R. She studied this and came to these conclusions. So, hugs per day for growth, 12. So the taste, the textures, and the colors. How many of you enjoy eating because of the color of the food, the taste, sweet, tart, warm, cold, fresh, raw, cooked, baked, boiled, rough, smooth? There's something to that, isn't there? says to embrace the power and presence of nature. We're going to go into a different section here. Nature is painting for us day after day pictures of infinite beauty. Here's what's so amazing. They had residents of buildings down in the city who had more vegetation. And they found that they knew their neighbors better if there was vegetation outside their city block or their city building. They have stronger feelings of community and they feel safer. But here's the other thing. They reported fewer crimes and have significantly lower levels of aggression and violence. And all it was nearby there was nature outside their apartments. That's all it took. Yeah.
This is going back just a little bit. This is going back just a little bit to what we were talking about, environment and houseplants. And the Chinese evergreen is one that is very good for taking toxins out of the air. Also, they're slow growing. They're, I'm losing my train of thought now. I get nervous here. But I do grow them, but like I said, they are expensive. And if you're interested, see me.
Okay. And remind me of your name.
Marie Israel.
Okay, so what we're going to do is plant enthusiast. We'll stay right here at this table if you have questions about a plant that we talked about, because she has all the answers, knows where to help you buy them, and also says she grows them. So thank you so much. She has over 150 plants. I think she can help you cover your house with plants. Thank you. I may need some help as well. So we talked about this, okay? We're going to go, we already did that while we were waiting. But one important issue is that the worst kind of skin cancer, melanoma, it isn't so much the total amount of sunlight you are exposed to, but whether or not you get sunburned. That's just one of the facts that I just want you to be aware of. And then it also talks about colon cancer and a few other things, but we're going to keep moving because I still got some things to talk about. So sunshine increases what? Serotonin, impacts, kills. This is all research here if you want it. It does what? Nutrients. It increases nutrients. Vitamin D enhances the immune system. You know these things. Benefits of fresh air. We've talked about this. I have lots of studies. This is just talking about the negative ions. Blessings of water. Stimulates the immune system, decreases cortisol, circulation, healing. She talked about that. This is the one that is very important because at the end of every week video that we have at Florida Hospital, we do kind of like a newscast. We say, wash your hands. You would be surprised how many people don't know how to wash their hands. So I said, when I would go on the road, I said, I will not necessarily teach you, but be sure to explain this. And there it is. You wet hands, you apply a soap, but the key is, how many of you rub your hands for 20 seconds? So how many of you go, how can I figure out what 20 seconds is? There it is. If you sing happy birthday 2 times, that's 20 seconds. So this ought to be entertaining. Go into your favorite restaurant, go to the bathroom, sing happy birthday to yourself 2 times, and wash your hands. Then rinse well and dry. But what do you do with that wet paper towel? You open the door and you then toss it in the trash. If it's a good restaurant, it's designed well. So you still don't wash your hands, do all the trouble, then just go to the door and walk out. Kind of defeated the purpose. There are so many people who we teach that have no idea or have never heard of that. But you're a smart group, so we'll move on. So what about this? The health benefits that animals provide. You've thought about that. I know there's cat lovers in here because she glared at me yesterday, right? There she is. I know there's dog lovers. Horse. Guess what my son just bought? Since we were gone, he took advantage of that. I think he sent us a text. That was pretty sneaky. But guess what he bought? I don't even know what they're called. Hermit crabs. So I'm going to go back, and he's got hermit crabs all painted in their shells in this brand new tank. Of course, he waited till Dad was on a plane, and he says, hey, this ought to be cool. I'll just text him I'm buying hermit crabs. But it's not the end of the world. It's not a salamander. It's not an alligator. So I think we're good to go. So they encourage activity. They increase health satisfaction. That decreases blood pressure. So I found this humorous little picture. I'm going to apologize in advance, but you might laugh. Wait. You're telling me if I pee in the yard, I get a treat? I love that. I sent that to my colleagues. I said, do I really tell 80 to 100 people that? They go, absolutely. Look at that dog's face. Is he not guilty as charged? That little baby is so enthused by that idea. So, there you are. Man's best friend. I mentioned here during that little interim there was that creation health is perfectly positioned to be what? To capture the national attention and be a differentiator. Okay? A lot of our health programs focus on what? They focus on exercise, they focus on nutrition and certain diets. But what we want to focus on is the environment, is that big picture. Why? Because of creation. God created our environment for us to enjoy. And this is where I think it needs to go. It seems natural for us as a church, the Seventh-day Adventist church, who believes in our Adventist health message, summed up in creation health. It's natural for us to take the lead and show commitment to what has been entrusted to us by God Himself. After all, it is in our wellness philosophy, right? Creation. The devoted will support us. The millennials will applaud us. The environment will thank us. So I took those three things and I said, what do I want to tell you? And I wrote this in my notes. Even little things add up and make a big impact on us, our world, and our future generations. Every action that we take that impacts our environment impacts our health and well-being. It impacts our outlook. It impacts how we feel about ourselves and others around us. And it can even impact us for eternity. So the devoted, reducers, reusers, and recyclers. How many of you heard of the concept of source reduction? I hadn't. That's why I left it in here. I know you know recycle and a few of the other things, but source reduction is to garbage what preventive medicine is to health. So it saves natural resources, because what I want you to do is to select non-hazardous or less hazardous items. That's another way of source reduction. Using less hazardous alternatives for certain items, cleaning products and pesticides is a good choice. If toxic chemicals are used, read the label carefully. Use the smallest amount necessary, for that is ways to reduce waste toxicity. Now I found this commercial, this little cartoon. Do I have any basketball players here? Anybody who plays basketball? Okay, I got a guy back there. All right, you might relate to this. It says here, Brandon didn't talk trash like all the other players. He talked recycling. So you get that, don't you? On the basketball court, you talk trash. Come on, bring it. You don't have a chance. That's talking trash, but this gentleman talks recycling. So I just think that is absolutely ridiculous, but I wanted to share with you that point for no apparent reason. So here's the cool thing I found. And if you're still wanting to hang out, I'm happy to keep talking, but these are 10 easy ways to improve your environment. I found these online, and I've even got research to back it up, and I thought it was fascinating because the sun and all of that stuff, you know all of those things. And a lot of the environment presentations, it's about sun and water and the things that we're aware of. But this is very interesting because they've kind of gone a little bit farther than what we're used to going. And it says to buy locally grown foods. You know this. We bought strawberries right here on campus. And here's why. You're supporting farmers who are preserving farmland and the agricultural landscape instead of selling land for development. That's a lofty cause. Recycle. Reuse bags and containers as much as possible. Okay? You know that. Live minimally. Materialistic goods are often wasteful, and it turns out they don't make us very happy. More and more people are realizing that living a simple, minimal, earthy life surrounded by family and friends and pursuing passions are far more fulfilling. That's creation healthy. Be mindful of electronics. Turn off the lights when you're not home. Unplug all electronics you're not using. You've heard this advice before, but it will help the environment a lot. You can also change your regular light bulbs out with compact fluorescent bulbs to reduce as much pollution as removing 1 million cars from the road, just by buying those more expensive light bulbs. Be mindful of water. Instead of taking a bath, Now here's why. Every 2 minutes of a shower versus a bath, you can save 10 gallons of water. 10 gallons of water just from that one shower. Skip the car. What does that mean? Take a walk if you can. Plant trees. This is an important one. Carry a reusable coffee cup or water bottle with you. That makes sense. Adjust the thermostat. And they recommend keep your thermostat at 1 degree higher than normal or at 1 degree lower during the winter, and every 1 degree Celsius will save 10% on energy use. Go vegetarian. Is that neat? Or they said, try it once a week. And here's why this is important. Eating 1 less meat meal per week can help the earth. You'll save water because producing 1 pound of beef takes about 2,500 gallons of water. I did not know that. And save trees for every 1 hamburger from animals raised on rainforest land. Some 55 square feet of forest have been destroyed. Just by going 1 meal a week vegetarian. That's all they're saying. Just try it once a week. We certainly have an advantage on that. But what's our ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal is to choose to create an environment that helps you achieve optimal health. And here's my finale. While on earth, the Redeemer of the world sought to make his lessons of instruction plain and simple, that all might comprehend them, and can we be surprised that he should choose the open air as his sanctuary? That he should desire to be surrounded by the works of his creation? So I invite you, take a seat. The beauties of nature have a tongue that speaks to us without ceasing. The open heart can be impressed with the love and glory of God as seen in the works of his hand. The listening ear can hear and understand the communications of God through the things of nature. There is a lesson in the sunbeam and in the various objects of nature that God has presented to our view. The green fields, the lofty trees, the buds and flowers, the passing cloud, the falling rain, the babbling brook, the sun, the moon, and stars in the heavens all invite our attention and meditation and bid us become acquainted with him who made them all. I will get that for you, absolutely. God does not design that we shall take no pleasure in the things of his creation. He watches with a father's joy the delight of his children in the beautiful things around him. How many of you are going to look at the environment a little differently? Absolutely. So the Sabbath is the what? The sanctuary of time. And what did this say? I love this. See if I can find it for you. The open air is whose sanctuary? God's sanctuary. So Ellen White, incredible words of wisdom. Well, I have no idea what time it is. I'm sure it's late. I've had a wonderful time. Thank you for the opportunity to be with you, but I have one last thing I need to tell you because we're going to have some fun. She went, uh-oh. Okay, here's the deal. What's tomorrow's presentation? Activity. Do you think I'm going to stand up here in a tie and talk about you exercising? You would be mistaken. So here's the deal. I produced an exercise video with an exercise physiologist, I don't know what you call him, fancy dude that works at the health club, a wonderful guy with a great video team in front of a Creation Health banner. Okay? It is 30 minutes. Every single one of you can do these exercises. It has appropriate music, and it's totally concentrated on form. We're going to encourage you to understand form. We're going to take you through a warm-up. We're going to take you through exercises. We're going to take you through a cool-down. We're going to teach you how to breathe. So here's the deal. Preferably no dress shirts. If you want to wear dress socks with tennis shoes, feel free. But come prepared to move. Are you ready with me? You all excited? You're looking at me going, oh boy. Okay? Why do we want to move? Because movement is life. All right? I'm coming, polo shirt, and I've got my workout pants and my tennis shoes. I brought them just for those 30 minutes. It's going to be fun. Come tomorrow, 9:45. We're going to push the chairs to the table. We're all going to do this and all this for 30 minutes. We're going to have a blast. So thank you for coming, and then tomorrow night, something extra special is going to happen in Trust. Everyone be safe. Love you all. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy nature and dodge the raindrops.